Good evening. Welcome back to Virtua Fighter, the Akira anthologies. This is Max taking the helm once again. And Chris, how's it going?
I got COVID. How are you doing?
That's fantastic. I probably have it too, but I somehow keep testing negative.
Well, so here's the shitty part of this whole story that I didn't tell you that threw me for a loop.
What's that?
I started feeling symptomatic last Thursday. So I took an at-home test and it said negative. I was like, all right, cool. Probably just seasonal crap and a cold because we went from, fucking 60 degrees in Bloomington to 30 and snowy in Ohio and then back again. And so I just attributed it to that. And then my symptoms kind of lingered, and I was like, well, you know what? Before meeting a whole bunch of people for worship on Sunday and accidentally spreading something, I better take another test just to be sure. And that, of course, came back positive. So
did you at home or?
Yeah, it was a second home test. So sometime between Thursday and Saturday afternoons is when I officially became positive for COVID.
You officially got the Rona.
Yep.
All right.
Or as we like to call it, the conservative virus.
Yeah. They want to call it the China virus?
At this point,
let's fucking name this thing.
Yeah, right? At this point, it's pretty much lingering as long as it is because they refuse to act like adults. So, fuck them.
Hey, you know what?
So I think get no jab.
When we were... no poison jab. When we heard that alarm earlier, I think that was my cue that I was missing Goro. But thankfully, I saved just a little while ago. So as long as I can... As long as I can load. How do you load? Yeah, I don't want to save again. It's gotta be under
options, right?
Right? Somewhere.
Go all the way to the right. Options.
Swap, look, area, audio.
Try like exit or something.
Yeah.
There you go. Now you have to load. But yeah, so I won't name this person or what my connection is to them, but they are a Facebook presence for me.
Yeah,
and they basically post like the most boomer shit they can find. Like they posted this article the other day, and their comment was, I've been saying to my friends that Fauci is literally as close to the devil as you can get, and this proves it. It's like in the 80s, Fauci performed biological tests on disabled children, and now, and now here's the best part, and our reliable source for this, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., a known bullshit shilling con artist who's a disgrace to his family. He just published a book apparently about how Fauci is, criminal, and it's the exact kind of bullshit you could imagine.
At first, I thought you said Fauci, he's a Crip, and I'm like, wow, that's damn, what a secret.
Exposing Fauci's gang ties.
That'd be the job I found.
Yeah, no.
Oh my god, Goro.
Yeah, I know. I fucking love Goro.
Hey, you two know each other.
Airhead here asked me to find it for you. I'm always delivering lunch to Harbor
Fucking
Dorm.
pompadour haircut. I love it.
Is that even a pompadour? What the fuck is that? It's something.
It's something, yeah.
It looks like he's kind of going for a young Frankenstein, sort of.
So, where should I go? Be at the Alpha Trading Office by 2 p.m.
All right.
Just ask for Yana-san. You have an appointment.
Do those two end up together? Is that a thing?
I feel like they already are. Mai likes the bad boys, so yeah.
Is Goro a bad boy though?
I know.
Goro's barely a boy.
Objectively, we can say he is not.
Goro's kind of his own unique. He's probably my favorite character in this game. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah, Goro's fucking awesome.
He's the one who endeared himself the most to me.
Oh shit!
What just happened?
It said corrupted data. Well,
that's not good.
I'm gonna ignore that.
Save slot 4 it is, baby.
You know what? Yeah.
Total system corruption.
Didn't say it that time. Alpha Trading. Wait, is this the? Let's see. That's an A. But that's a.
I don't think they want you to think about it this hard, Max. I'm pretty sure if you get there, Rio will figure it out.
Hey, Alpha Trading Office. Thank God they have English. 2 p.m. Okay, so I got time to kill. Let's go.
I would love to play this game as like a native Japanese resident and just be like that much more absorbed into the world, you know?
Seriously, I mean, the weird thing is like the Yakuza games, they have places that look exactly like other places, and they're named very closely, but they're never like, this is the real place, even though everyone knows what it is.
Right.
But this game, they use the actual real names.
Yes, like there is a Yokosuka and a Dobuita, and they actually went to those places to create their in-game maps, which of course aren't to scale or anything like that. It's
they went way too hard on this game. Like they did not have to do everything they did.
It's Yu Suzuki. You bet he did.
It was Yu Suzuki. Yeah, it was kind of like, and God bless Sega for just being like, yeah, sure. You know what? You gave us Outrun and stuff. Well,
yeah,
we'll give you $70 million.
Yeah, right. Here's a blank check to make whatever the fuck you want.
And the world is better for it. Sega probably wasn't for a long time.
No, which sucks because that's like the whole like tortured history of Shenmue. It was supposed to be like revolutionary and groundbreaking, and in the technical sense, it delivered. It's just that it wasn't everybody's jam, you know. Like it takes a special kind of nerd like you and me, to really be into this.
But they refined the formula. Like, they kept, maybe Shenmue didn't, unfortunately, but these kind of games, like, kept doing it, you know. Now you got, like, weather systems that are pretty seamless.
You know what's kind of funny is that games that have come since Shenmue, that have taken a lot of elements for it, have found greater success than it did, which is sad.
Oh, yeah, for sure. For sure.
And granted, they do it better, some games. Like you mentioned Yakuza, which is a spiritual successor, like...
Oh yeah, speaking of the Like a Dragon, I beat yesterday.
Oh really?
Like, finally.
Was it good?
But it was, oh my god, excellent. And you know what?
Nice.
I gotta say how dramatic it is. I mean, you know I like FF15. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy by far, but you know, it's a good game. As far as the emotional tugging, like this game, the ending especially, made the ending of 15, where the main character dies, seem like a second grade play. Like,
oh wow, nice.
oh yeah, I guess 5-year-old spoilers at this point.
Good. I'm not shitting you. Nobody cares about 15.
No one cares, right? You know, oh shit, 16 getting delayed. That kind of sucks, but not unexpected at all. Yeah,
I mean, I just assumed 16 was delayed, but what are they saying now?
It's not Katase, it's like Yoshioda something, the director. He, I guess, promised that there was going to be news about 16 come December.
That news was that it's delayed. Fuck
yes, he did, and I actually kind of appreciate that instead of just saying nothing, which is pretty much what I expected, that instead he was like, hey, I promised that I was going to have news in December. I'm going to have to break that promise. Is like literally what his letter said.
Oh, bummer.
And here's what happened. Assets aren't being delivered. COVID, which is like, you know, I get it. It doesn't, we're still not at the point where I don't feel like it's like an excuse.
Yeah, it's not like the same development hell as 15 yet.
Yeah, seriously, I really hope not. I mean, 7, once the news really started coming, I'm going to get more cola. I don't give a shit. Oh, okay. Or I'm going to talk to Hisaka.
Though we're rapidly approaching the 2-year anniversary of the 7 remake with not so much as a screenshot of the second entry.
That's true.
Which, again, is about what I expected, because I guarantee you 2 years later, regardless of all of like the supposed leaks or whatever else people like to jabber on about, I guarantee you there is a room full of programmers that meet 9 to 5 every single day, still talking about how the hell are we going to do an open world for the second act. I guarantee you.
I would hope they would have figured it out by now.
They have not. There's no way they would tell us, but I would be willing to put money down that they probably have like character models. They've probably refined the battle system. They may have like some new monsters and stuff or some set pieces, but I guarantee you, as far as navigating from point A to point B, I promise you, they have not figured out whether they want to do like a zoom out world map, like kind of scaled
zoom out world
down,
map
like Dragon Quest 11, or if they want to try for like a big open field like FF15. I guarantee you they haven't even.
I really hope it's not FF15 style, because yes, I know that's more actually open world.
Yeah.
But it's gonna make the world feel smaller. Weirdly
absolutely.
enough.
Yeah.
You know, it's just like these towns are not actually that far from each other,
right?
And you don't drive a car or anything. You know, so. And of course, they walk to calm, like at the end of the first one, to kind of delay, like that problem by a little bit,
right?
But how long can you spend in fucking calm? Seriously,
I mean,
they're gonna do half the game there.
If it got the game out within an acceptable time frame, which to me it would be this year, I would much rather they just bite the bullet and do it Final Fantasy X style, where like you leave calm, you cut to like a little stretch of road, and then you're at Chocobo Farm. You know, that I would be way more on board with that than I would be let's keep people in suspense for 5 more years while we figure out a sloppy solution.
Good. Next, press
the
accelerator.
How do I know what I mean, I guess it's just like me.
Now back up. Different from accelerator.
But if they had something, it's fucking Square Enix. They announce shit 10 years before it comes to fruition. We would have heard something.
Yeah. I mean, they were a little better with
especially a game with existing assets. There is a sound reason.
Oh, seriously.
There is a sound reason we haven't heard or seen anything, because they don't have it.
First slide the fork under the crate.
Yeah, they were a little better with remake, where it was from announcement to release. It was 5 years. So on one hand, it's like, wow, that's half the time of 15. On the other hand, it's like, remember when they would release games almost yearly? Like, at least in Japan, it would be like 14 months or sometimes like 9 or 10 months in between games.
Yeah.
Like,
real quick side note,
that shit doesn't happen.
Yeah, exactly. Real quick side note. The guy giving you the tutorial here, doesn't he fucking sound like Franklin from Charlie Brown?
Wait, which one's Franklin?
The black kid.
The only
Does he? I see the Peanut. I see like the Christmas special sometimes.
Yeah.
And I fall asleep to it. I don't even know what any of those kids sound
like. Yeah,
like,
because they all
Charlie Brown
like
and Linus.
Just here to put you down. That's kind of what that guy sounded like to me.
All right, where am I crane? Oh, there we go.
First person. What kind of monster are you?
It actually put it in first person.
Oh,
for
really?
Me, and they say, oh, it's easier in first person. I don't like first person at all for this shit.
Whenever you have the option for third person, it's almost universally better to do third person. Except for a game where like they added it in later, like the Elder Scrolls games or something.
Yeah.
What kind of fucking monster tries to play an Elder Scrolls game or any Bethesda title in third person?
Yeah, or like GTA or something.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it does it automatically, which, you know what, I kind of remember? I think they did that in the Dreamcast version as well. Oh, wait, does he want me to keep moving stuff?
Oh, yeah, you're employed now.
All right.
You work here, bitch.
Wait, is that... What's my horn? How did I do my horn? Okay, well, whatever.
Your pants But yeah, no, like, I am properly pissed off about...
Why?
Like, how... even though... somehow, against all odds, we actually did see a part of an FF7 remake. Granted, I had some issues with it, as you remember.
Yeah, for sure.
Like, it's almost like that was just a fluke. Like, we released something because it would have been fiscally irresponsible not to. But now we have. But now we haven't learned a lesson, and we're back to our usual shitty practices of announcing things with no and this, concerning the FF16 announcement, I get that COVID is a thing, but I mean, this just feels way too much like what they've been doing for the better part of 2 decades.
Yeah,
now.
I mean, the trailer was cool and everything, but it's like, unless you can you get gameplay in like, I don't know, 18 months? Like, and like a year would be better. Like, if you can show us like actual, hey, we got the engine going. Like, I don't believe for a second that it looked like gameplay, and maybe it was like alpha gameplay where it's just like, hey, we could technically make this work in the engine, but it's gonna be buggy as hell, and we can't get more than a few seconds. Like,
well, like I remember when all of this shit started, and it was FF13. Funny enough, which kind of, 15 kind of put that whole weird period of their history to bed, but if you remember 13, it was actually announced almost at the exact same time as FF12 was, because 12 was meant to be, well, 12 was the swan song for the PS2, and 13 was meant to usher in the PS3 era.
Yeah.
Instead, cut to 6 years later, when we finally see 13 in 2010, and
it was 10. It wasn't 2009.
Yeah, no, 13 was
shit.
2010. It was like spring 2010, but it's still 2010.
I thought that was only like 3 years between announcement. Okay, so
No,
that was like over 4 years.
So they announced FF12 probably about a year and a half, 2 years before it released, and at the same exact time, they showed the first screenshot of Lightning, and it's like, this is going to be what Final Fantasy 13 looks like. It's going to blow your mind. And then like 3 years later, we got a trailer, and then 2 years later, we actually got the game, which... And at the time, I was thinking, wow, what a long and shitty development cycle. At the same time, though, they were talking about Versus 13, and they kept...
Yeah.
And they kept... You remember when it was Versus 13, they kept on changing what it was and what kind of game it was and how it was going to play, and, it was going to be like a full-scale open world that you could drive around, and... all these stupid ass promises that would have been so much richer had they not made them. And then finally it became 15, and even after it was called 15, we still waited a solid 4 or 5 years for that.
Yeah.
Because
once they announced that it was 15, it was, I think, another 3 years. Yeah.
It wasn't short. It wasn't like, it's 15 now, we'll have it to you in a year.
Yeah, it was definitely not.
It was 15, and then we waited 2 years and we got a demo, and then we finally, a year later, got the actual... A year and a half later, got the actual game.
At 9 a.m.
Yeah. I mean, that was...
Yeah, sure.
And what's really shitty, I mean, during Final Fantasy 15's development cycle, you have to remember the entire Witcher trilogy came out.
Yeah, man.
Which, is quantifiably... I'm sorry, like I said, I'm with you. I enjoyed 15 overall.
Okay.
But The Witcher 3 is a better game, and it took, 2-3 years to develop, and they had the grace not to announce it until there was something to announce.
And The Witcher 2, I remember seeing it, even though I never played it. It wasn't my thing, but it's like, oh wow, this looks like an Elder Scrolls kind of game. Like, this is pretty significant.
Let me open Steam here because I have them all.
Yeah, it wasn't quite open world like Elder Scrolls, but it was here.
The Witcher 2: Assassins of Kings. Let's go to the. Where do I go to the store page? There it is. When was this released? Okay, Witcher 2: Assassins of Kings was released in 2011. Witcher 3 was released in 2015.
Okay.
Yeah, and so 4
what
years.
They did in 4 years.
Yeah, 4 years between development, and I don't know if the development cycle for the third game kicked off the day after 2 was released, or if they took a grace period, but 4 years to me is an acceptable development cycle between, the time you first start spitballing like, hey, we'll probably make a third one, and then, 2 years later you actually announce you're making a third one, and then you release it.
Yeah. And that's the thing, is announcing it. Like, don't announce it 5 years before it's going to come out.
Exactly. I mean, is Square Enix just that undisciplined? It's not like they don't put out other games. I don't know why their anchor staple franchise is the one that they can't seem to pin
seriously.
down right now. Like, you would think that's the one that they would want to be the most stable in their library.
Yeah, and they have so many other arms that could be releasing things. Like, hey, you got Avengers, you got Eidos, like doing Lara Croft games and stuff.
And all those studios seem to have no problem churning out really respectable titles. I don't know what it is about their in-house team that can't seem to pin down what constitutes an acceptable release schedule for a Final Fantasy
Do you
game.
know anything
Yeah.
about the Mad Angels?
It's like they're getting psyched out.
Angels?
Like it's like, okay,
I don't know what it
this
is, like, whether they're psyched out or whether like the directors are like insisting that each game needs to be the biggest and greatest title there's ever been, and they of course can't deliver that
Yeah.
sustainably. It's I don't know.
I
It's
mean, I
weird.
feel like they can do, even with like a big open world thing. Like I know most of their best titles right now are still, at least as far as RPGs go, are definitely like the smaller projects, the throwbacks, things like that. I mean, do you have? I know you have the first two Bravely Default games. Have you? I think you told me. Did you buy Bravely Default 2?
Yes.
Like, and what do you think? Like,
It's good. It's good. I kind of wish that they would scale down Final Fantasy and make it like that.
Yeah, I mean, which I wouldn't mind that at all. Like,
No, just kind of like a return to form. Like, remember when FF9 came out and like its whole shtick was we're marrying classic Final Fantasy gameplay with modern technology.
yeah,
That was a cool concept. I wish they would do that again in 2021.
yeah,
And that, to their credit, that is sort of how FF16 was announced. Like it's a return to the series' fantasy roots, but of course, you know, they're borrowing from FF7's combat system, which is great. Like that was probably the strongest part of that game. What was its actual gameplay, which is kind of weird for a Final Fantasy game.
yeah.
Because it
for
sure shit wasn't the story.
The story, I'm interested to see what they're gonna do with that.
I'm
but
not.
I had to
I'm not.
completely
Like,
divorce.
At this point, go ahead. You finish first. Sorry.
I had to totally, because I was disappointed, and I'm still
yeah.
disappointed because of what I thought it was going to be. Because it was like, oh, it's Final Fantasy VII Remake. I think it's going to be like Final Fantasy VII. Well, fuck me. Like, I guess I shouldn't have thought that. But it's like, okay, now I have to think
it's only there in the title. Like
these are the characters I like, sort of. They have kind of made Cloud still more of his advent children, and it's almost like they kind of forgot who Cloud really is.
Yeah.
But aside from that, it's just like, okay, these are mostly the characters I like. Let's
so
see
like
what
the
the
way
fuck they're
that
going to do with the story.
the way that apologists for that game are justifying that decision is like, well, it's a remake. It's not meant to be the original. Yeah, but make a new game. Like if you want to tell a different story, then make a new game.
Yeah.
Like don't try to completely reinvent entire archetypes and events that are set in stone for the canon of this universe and tell me it's the same thing but better. Like that.
Do you know anything?
I mean, so like when someone recreates a famous work of art, you know, like there's elements of it.
Okay.
And don't get me wrong, FF7 is not a famous work of art. But you know what I'm saying? like when someone makes a tribute to something, there are elements of it that are fixed, right? Like Spider-Man, Peter Parker, right?
Yeah.
like let's pretend the next Spider-Man movie comes out, and without explaining why or making any kind of meaningful character transition, just for some reason in this movie, he's not Spider-Man isn't Peter Parker. His name is now Roy Coddlesworth, right? And he's a British dude. And instead of spider powers, he actually got bitten by a radioactive penis. And so he can't do anything but ejaculate everywhere. And he has to compensate for that with his personality. And, you know, that's what Spider-Man's always been about. You're foolish for not thinking that it is. I mean, that's what the ending of FF7 did. Like, it undermined the entire rest of that game's mythos and established, like, world building.
Yeah, I totally agree. The ending of the game did
Kingdom
that.
Hearts Destiny garbage. Like, it introduced a theme that not only wasn't in the original, but bashes heads with the relatively robust mythos already in place.
Yeah, they're totally, like, tearing it down.
Yeah, like are there two Sephiroths? Is Zack gonna find everybody and his sacrifice is now meaningless? And what does that leave for
and I
Cloud's
get the
character arc? I mean, it's stupid. It was bad.
And just
writing.
because they're purposefully tearing it down doesn't make it better.
No,
like
no.
Yeah, we're doing this on purpose. You're like, yeah,
right.
no, and it's kind of a dumb
no,
decision,
officer. I meant to take a shit on the Statue of Liberty's foot. It's okay because I meant to do it.
And yeah.
Yeah, it's. that is such a stupid argument for what they're doing here, and like trying to point to fans who are clinging to the nostalgia in a release that is entirely making bank on nostalgia is just poor marketing.
Yeah.
I don't know.
And they knew. I mean, if it was a completely new game,
which it should have been. Which it should have been. It would have been a great.
And it could have been.
Yeah.
But they
even
purposefully
be set in the FF7 universe for all I care.
They're purposely doing FF7 quote unquote remake.
Right.
Doing it mostly like what FF7 was, and the trailers mostly being, hey, this is FF7 in Midgar, which, you know, it was.
Yep.
But they did that because they wanted the fans of the original game to buy it and be like, oh, I'm getting FF7 remake. So they knew what they were doing. It was definitely a bait and switch. I mean,
like, and if that's what they wanted to do, why not just say, like, why not just call it, this is FF7, another story, and it takes place during the Midgar chapter, but it explores like some different themes of Cloud's personality and like how he got there. And you know, it's a self-contained narrative. You know, it's not a full remake because we can't financially do that, but here is something that fans of the original will enjoy. Like, if that had been what this was, like kind of like a Marvel What If episode, that would have been more acceptable than what they're doing. But they're saying that this is the canon now, and we're running with this. Fuck that. I'm sorry. Especially when it's clear now. I love the Rio something on this fucking motorcycle.
Right? Yeah, I was like, where did the motorcycle? Oh, okay.
Especially when it's clear from Square's own.
Damn. I didn't realize it was a QTE at that. Oh God! All right.
It's always a QTE, Max. Always be ready for the QTE.
All right. I got this shit.
But no, the most frustrating thing about the whole operation is that it's clear that Square still doesn't have an overarching.
Oh shit!
Nice. I love him.
It's my boy.
Blue, my boy. But no, it's clear that they don't know ultimately where they're going with it yet. Which
that's exact. I totally agree with you there. 100%.
That's the most frustrating thing. So
100%, and that's what I hate.
It's
just like they're just thinking about the one game, and yeah, they're kind of setting it up. Like, okay, we can kind of set this up and do this, and we have the vaguest idea of a storyline in mind. It's like, great, that really worked well for the new Star Wars trilogy. You know, let's go with that. It's, hey Goro, hey, come on, hey bro, hey, what's up?
There it is.
You know about the
Finally,
he said the thing.
He said the thing.
What are you even talking?
Shouting.
Don't you know, bro? You don't say that name so loud.
Oh, that's funny.
Goro, you say
Rio.
everything loud.
And it's fucking Rio that's saying, like, is this a social cue? Like, what are you doing?
Rio doesn't know what to make of this man.
Oh my god.
Goro just got dropped a lot as a kid. He can't help it.
Alright, I think that's all I got here at the...
don't talk about the Mad Angels!
I wouldn't be as indiscreet as you.
Oh god. This is like the third or fourth rant we've had about FF7 now, but every time new news comes out about it, or at the very least news of another delay concerning Final Fantasy, like, I always get super triggered by it because obviously, like, if you look at my game room, it's my favorite series. It's just, you introduced it to me when we were fucking 7 years old,
like 10 or something. Like,
not even 10.
Yeah, probably earlier than that.
Third grade, 7
like,
or 8.
This is FF4.
Yeah, we were 7 or 8 years old, and it just stuck with me ever since. You know, it's always been my favorite, even though it's always had a few cracks in it, and I've never minded that. But
well, that's the thing. We're fans. We're allowed to like trash on it when it needs some, you know, to be trashed on.
Yeah, and
it has
right
its problems.
Now, it's just like the series itself is such a fucking hot mess. I mean, between 15, which was an incomplete game that even after, 12 years of development was still, not 12 years, but 10 years, was still somehow ushered out too soon.
Yeah, and there was no saving that game unless Square was just like, hey, yeah, so we hate money. Do you need another 6 years for this? totally scrap it and start from scratch. Like, yeah, that was never going to happen.
And like, I can't imagine that's the fault of like the programmers who have been jerked around and forced to rebuild that game 3 or 4 times.
Panzer Dragoon.
But like, can you imagine if for 10 years you showed up to work on the same project and multiple times they bring in a new director who tells you to start over from scratch?
Seriously.
How pissed would you be? And people wonder why that game came out half cooked.
Again?
Yeah. And again, like 10 years. Like, you think about how long literally a person's career is.
Yeah.
Starting probably in their early 20s, you know, as an actual career. That's like a
third
to a
25%
of your career.
Yep.
Like,
you work 30 to 40 years. I mean, how much
for
time
people to be
you...
like 7 out of 10? It's like, God damn it.
Yeah. How much time did you waste on that game? And that's to say nothing of, you know, industry practices like crunch time and stuff like that. I mean, what a horrible experience developing that game had to have been.
I should try again.
And then
it sucks.
7 Remake comes out, and it's not as dramatic, but it's a similar experience. And there was some clear conflict, if you ask me, concerning what direction the narrative was supposed to go, because there's 2 competing narratives at play in that game.
and the main one and the whispers.
And now it's just on hold because, again, they didn't bother to think past the first portion. And they were happy with its commercial success, as well they should have been. It was a fine playing and beautiful looking title. But you can't just push out something like that without having, especially if you do want to make dramatic changes to the main narrative, without having an idea of where it's going, because you know you're losing the attention of the people who you hooked, right?
Yeah, with the first one, and now it's just like, oh, now we're gonna wait another 6 years because that game, it's definitely not coming 2022. You kidding me? I'm not expecting to get news of it until late this year, like literally fall or winter.
I would be surprised if we get that.
Like, I'm definitely thinking 2024 as far as a release. Like here's the game, 2024. We're not getting the game in 2023.
Yeah.
But yeah, and I would love to say that I would love it if you were wrong about the open world.
Oh,
they're like,
I
no,
would
you
too.
know what? We got this figured out. We're gonna just do a zoomed out thing,
right?
And we're gonna zoom in when there's battles.
Yep.
But if I was a betting man, which I can be sometimes, no, I would say they are probably just like, oh fuck,
they've screwed the pooch, and like they've shown themselves to do multiple times.
Hey, what's this?
And they're probably going to go with like an FF10 type thing.
I hope
where it's just like the story is going to move you along.
That would be fun.
And yeah, and then it's just
At
like,
least
here's
it would
your
get
airship
out.
or something. Yeah.
and you know, once they commit to that, you know, it would probably be less time between the second and third entry, because you know there's going to be a third entry. They're not going to finish the whole story in the second game.
No. And everyone loves their fucking trilogies. Like.
Right. But if there's more money to be made. But if they just like finally bite the bullet and admit to themselves, like, yeah, we promised a big open world to the fans, but we can't make that work across 2 games and not with the size of the world that existed in the original FF7. It just wouldn't work the way that we promised.
It is. I will say this: FF7 being not my favorite Final Fantasy, but such a big part of my childhood.
Yeah.
It should have hit like all the nostalgia feels, and it did for the most part until the story kind of went off the rails.
Yep.
But if you told me, hey, you know, the second game is coming out, are you more excited for that or FF16? And
16.
I didn't think that would. I didn't even think that'd be a question. It'd be like, of course it's 7. Like these, you know, this is my game. And now it's like I'm probably equally excited about both of them, and probably a little more excited about 16 because that's the promise of a totally brand new story.
Yeah, because I don't
know what the fuck is going on in that game.
16, right? Like they can make the story whatever they want. If they want to make it about, you know, Kingdom Hearts Destiny monsters, go ahead as long as it's good. But you know, like don't bait me with one thing and then give me another. I mean,
yeah.
But yeah, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say, like, they do come up with fucking crazy ass stories sometimes, and I do appreciate more the ones that seem like it's a classic story on the surface, but then some crazy shit happens, like FF9. It was just like, oh, you know, we know this story, right? And then it's just like, you're an alien.
Whole second world here that's going to eat the first world.
Yeah, and your dad's an alien, and this. Although I guess they've been doing that subversive shit since the first game.
Oh,
you know?
absolutely.
Here's Dungeons and Dragons. Oh, there's time travel. What?
Yep.
You know, and FF5, it's just like you go to this other planet. That old man was an alien, and now the planets kind of merged.
Yeah,
and,
five was cool.
Five had a
shit
interesting
on 5 in America.
Yeah, and it was like, no, this is the harem Final Fantasy. And it had, I mean, you had the moon in FF4. FF5 had a whole other planet, and you didn't just stay there for the final thing. It was like,
and then like you said, they combined them,
Yeah, here's a good few, like, I don't know, 10 hours on this other planet, by the time you leave, here's...
And you, like, thought you won the game.
Here's a third planet, basically, yeah.
Yep. Well, and that was cool. I think out of all of them, 5 isn't like the strongest in any one category, except maybe the job system, of course. But like, it's probably the most Final Fantasy, if that makes any sense.
Yes, it does. I know exactly what you're talking about.
It's like its own weird mishmash of every Final Fantasy element up to that point carried out to its most like logical extreme before the series reinvented itself with 6.
Yep. Yeah, it's still had the ATB system that was just introduced in the previous game.
Yep.
4 party members. Yeah, it did it better. The job system, which did it a lot better than FF3.
Oh yeah.
And it's still probably a
world exploration
job here or there.
It's probably got the most world exploration out of possibly any game in the series to date. I'm trying to maybe 12 had more to discover.
I was about to say 12, definitely. Like 12, I don't think there's any comparison.
Yeah, no, 12 probably had more to discover overall. But you know, the fact that they didn't, you know, crack that open for 14 years.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, 5, all of like the hidden weapons, all the optional bosses, and granted, there's only 2 super bosses, but peppered throughout the... Whoa, get on that fucking bus, Rio.
I was about to say, Rio.
He just changed his mind.
Don't fuck around here.
Just waited and changed his mind. Shit, what was I going to say? Like, that game was peppered throughout the entire story with optional bosses, hidden story sequences. Like, you could completely miss entire stretches of character development. You could
things.
Like ignore half of the summon library and the blue magic, and once you go past it, it's like it's gone. Just collect it next playthrough if you want. I mean, it was kind of a really 90s approach to that sort of thing, but at the same time, you beat that game the first time, you were probably going to do it a second time just to see what you missed.
Yeah,
and it wasn't over long. I mean, it was a solid 30 to 40 hours, but you know, I mean,
especially if you just tried to blast through it. Yeah. I don't know. I guess 6 it's longer than 6 because technically 6, if you blast through it, you miss everything in the World of Ruin. You can totally just blast through that game, but almost no one does. You know, they don't get everything, but they get some things.
In fact, you know, I was going to ask you. I know it wasn't that long ago that we played it on this channel, but I have a strong inkling that you plan on getting the Pixel remaster. It might be fun to do a replay the hits already on that.
A replay. Hell yeah.
Just to experience what's different. Yeah.
I love
different. And
first of all, I love the fucking soundtracks of these games. Yeah. Like, are you kidding me? I was listening to the FF4 soundtrack when it came out, and I was just like, it's not like a overly and I love the remixes that they do in the like the PSP version and all this, and the DS version for sure, but this is just like the original songs, but just like hey, here's like 8 extra channels on the sound chip of the Super Nintendo. Like, that's what it sounds like. That they just put that exact song through the mixer or something. And I love it.
That's the part that I'm most looking forward to. I mean, the graphics are looking on point for that one.
Yeah. Why doesn't Rio want to train
soundtracks
anywhere?
that they've been doing have just been so good. I can't wait to see what they do with 6.
Yeah. And like you said, when you first sent me those images of 6, it's like they really are just
they're taking their time with this one.
Yeah, and it's like they're cleaning it up in a way where they're putting a lot of care into it, and they're not making it look so different. They're just making it look better.
They're not doing the thing with the mobile ports where like the different art elements like clash with each other in really awkward ways. It looks like you remember it, just with a coat of paint on it.
Yeah, for sure.
Which is just fine with me. So like, well, you know, and going back to our original point here, as far as like where Square Enix is right now, it's kind of amazing that the things that you look forward to most are just like their side teams' treatment of the classic games, or like new games like Bravely Default in the classic vein, because those are actually getting released, and that's where all of like the creativity is being poured in right now.
I feel, and you know what? It's because there's different guys. Sometimes they have veterans working on these games. But the weird thing is, I feel like it's the newer people,
the ones that grew up loving
doing
Final
these classic,
Fantasy.
and then they're building these classic games, and everyone else, like you got, who's the brainchild of FF7, basically. At least he was the artist, Tetsuya Nomura.
Yeah, Nomura.
You know, and now he's a director, and it's just like
I still don't understand how they made that leap.
Versus
other than
13.
He'd been with them for 20 years and said he wanted to be a director.
Exactly. It's just like, is that his wheelhouse? Does he have any experience?
Exactly. Like
who
decided?
He's a good artist.
And he has like cool set piece ideas. Maybe make him like an event coordinator or something like that.
Yeah.
I know those, or like a scenario writer. Like I get that that's a huge part of a game development. And honestly, that, like, if you were to ask me, like, in a perfect world, what my dream job would be, I would fucking love to write a Final Fantasy. But I'm willing to bet that there's technical aspects of doing something like that I'm probably not fully equipped for. You know, having no training or experience working with video games. And again, this guy who's, like you said, a talented artist, he can put ink and pen to canvas and make something cool looking. That doesn't necessarily mean that he should be at the helm of an entire digital project.
Yeah.
Because again, like I said about myself, there's probably things to think through there that he doesn't have the experience to think through.
I mean, it's not. It
maybe
takes
more
than
so
passion,
now,
unfortunately.
But yeah.
Oh no!
Now that he's had a decade of failure to teach him how, but
I hope. Oh man!
But still, I mean, why base it off that? Why not someone with new ideas who's specialized in this sort of thing?
Yeah.
Wow. I forgot these races suck.
Yeah, these guys are hard asses. Hey, you know what? We'll just say I'm doing the thing. I'm a collector. I'm trying to get all the different forklift toys. So
right. Hey man,
doing
you
this
really
on purpose.
Suck. I admire that. Here's a toy.
oh fuck!
And the hitbox detection.
Fuck
because
me.
You can't see the prongs on the end of your. What the hell? Are you doing?
I went the wrong way, didn't I?
Yeah, you did. There was like a whole bunch of arrows pointing.
I saw the arrows.
You even weaved in between them. No, Max, no. What are you doing?
Wait, this isn't the right way?
No.
Oh god. Oh no, it's not.
Well, I mean, you are technically going the right way. You're just doing it a second time in fifth place.
Oh god.
Holy shit. All right, so coming up here, I'll show you what you did. Okay, so instead of going left, you weaved between those barrels and you never recovered.
Why? Why did I do that? Oh, there's like different laps. Oh, there's 3 laps. Jesus Christ. This is very lonely. I have to live with the stink of my failure for another like 3 minutes.
As long as you don't let them lap you, I think you're good.
No! Ugh. I thought maybe if I don't hit a single wall.
That's what's gonna happen, isn't it?
Rio, you had a full like 4 hours to learn this.
Oh my god.
Why can't you race with the best of them?
Oh, holy shit.
All right. What happened at this point? What did I do?
I'll tell you again when you get there. You're doing fine
when I
now.
get there. It's coming up. It's coming up in a second. It's at this corner. It's
no,
this.
It's not. No,
it's not.
No,
okay.
It's still coming.
Is it here?
Nope, it's around this next corner. Right here is where you did it. You just
I went
decided
right.
to take off in between those barrels. Leo's like, lap 2, bitches.
Hey, I'm catching up with 4th place.
Are you serious? Is this like Mario Kart where like the person in last place just slows to a crawl for you?
I'm the rubber banding guy now.
Oh man, if only there were like a blue shell or something you could get, that would make it a lot easier.
A little lightning bolt or something. Golden mushroom would really help out right now. All right, bitch.
So final, like I know we spent more than half the episode talking about it now, but final thoughts on this is just, you know, they could definitely do a lot to make Final Fantasy great again. Which at this point though, I don't know whether it's ego or money or some kind of inner machinations at Square Enix that, you know, the fan base isn't privy to. But I hope 16 is a redemption story instead of another development hell thing.
Hey, I didn't get last place. That's amazing.
Yeah, that is amazing. Are you fucking kidding me? Did you see that comeback?
Yeah, how long has that other guy been? How long has Fifth been working here, bitch?
What you didn't see is that while Rio was dicking around, that guy was having a seizure. Like, it's a miracle of science that he finished the race. He's a hero.
From today, welcome. I'll do my best. Time to get to work. Move these crates with a forklift.
Let's hope you work better than you race. That's what I do here?
Number 18.
He's gonna drive it into the ocean.
Quota's written on the map. Read it carefully.
Hey, that's what I'd be scared of.
You'll get a raise. Great.
Yeah.
Just be sure you don't
I wish I got a raise every day.
Okay.
Man, if only I was like had my career in the 80s.
Yeah, seriously.
Lived in Japan.
Hey, you're not drunk on the job. Congratulations, you're now president.
Okay, so here, just go straight-ish and take a right. Well, you know what? They have the fucking directions on the ground, so I should be good.
You've got to enter the map. So in other Twitter or social media
I go
news.
Here?
Yep.
I didn't think so.
No, you're right. I thought the guy was just being a dick.
Yeah, right?
Here you go.
Turns out I was the dick.
Yeah.
18, 1 through 17. Okay, so I just go right, and right some more.
That crate doesn't belong here.
Oh,
you little bitch.
See, now I was wrong this time.
I swear that said 1 through 17.
Yeah.
Number 1 through okay.
Oh, okay. You had the right idea. You just did it too soon. There we go. There's 18.
Oh, wow. That's easy.
Yeah, it is mercifully easy.
Yeah, I guess day one, they,
Good gloves, yeah.
Little
so in other social media news, did you see that bit about Marjorie Taylor Greene being banned from Twitter?
Oh, yeah. Her personal account, but
sing.
still pretty sweet. Yeah.
Made my heart sing a little bit.
Am I going the wrong way? Nope. Here it is, right here. Okay. I am not great with the directions.
I love how you can basically say whatever you want to conservative constituents and say, you know, like, the sky is green and these are facts. But like, in the real world, if you want to participate in the real world, you're still held to some account, you know? Like, no, you can't, in fact, just in a room full of sane people say the sky is green and expect us to all get on board with it.
It's kind of like yelling fire in a theater. Like,
right.
When you're talking about COVID misinformation,
yeah.
I think Twitter is right that this is against the common good.
Yeah.
Like, and it's, I don't know. Yeah, it did make me happy to see that. And you see people talking
because
about
you're right.
like
That's
fucking
exactly
First
what
Amendment.
it's right. Just because there's an obnoxious group of people who think it's hilarious to yell fire in a theater, that doesn't mean that the rest of society is going to applaud you for it or accommodate you.
Yeah,
it's just
exactly. They want to be accommodated, and it's like they either don't care or they. I
no,
honestly think
my
they
truth
don't know
is
it.
as valid as your truth. No, ma'am. I mean,
No,
at some point,
it's not an opinion.
Yeah, gravity and medicine are two things we're not willing to compromise on. Fuck
yeah. The whole thing about people having to say science is real because and that not being ironic at all. Like, it's like, yeah, I believe in science.
Oh, that you know,
people who...
yeah, and don't get me wrong. This is completely not their fault. But if there's one liberal phrase that I hate more than anything else right now, it's "science is real." Not because I disagree with it, but because we even have to say it, and that it's become like a catchphrase or a tagline. Like, dude, can we not normalize this?
Oh, I screwed that up.
Yeah, it was pretty bad, Max.
So badly. Can I?
Yeah, you can.
God, no.
Oh God. Oh God.
Oh, I remember quota's still pretty easy to get.
Oh, you are drunk on the job. Yes, I am. But yeah, like I wish we wouldn't make like cutesy catchphrases out of things that are points of national shame, you know?
I get it.
But like not everything has to be a hashtag. Like, can we just dismiss these imbeciles without inadvertently giving them more public awareness by making them the subject of a hashtag? It's frustrating.
Also, and exactly, and they know that when they're emboldened if they feel
and then
like
they
create
create their own counter phrase to that. It becomes a debate instead of what it should be, which is just like, wow, these people are insane. Let's not be like them.
Yeah.
I'm serious, because like it's the same thing, regrettably, that happened with Black Lives Matter. Black Lives Matter is a movement that needs to happen, but giving it the hashtag enabled conservatives to do Blue Lives Matter and All Lives Matter, and
but they're going to do that no matter what.
Right?
I feel like,
but it became a battle of whose catchphrase is better, and like, what's more identifiable, and like, well, these two things are the same. They're just different. It's like Coke and Pepsi, Black Lives Matter and Blue Lives Matter, when it's not.
I feel like having the hashtag, having the phrase, gives it some power. It's important. It can start
I disagree
trending.
In that point.
Yeah.
But go on. I want to hear what you have to say, because this is bothering me.
You can get it to start trending. You're going to get a lot of people to be like, well, what are they talking about? What is this? And get more awareness around the subject.
I will agree with that. It does give more awareness, but I think there's a point where awareness has diminishing returns, because, just because I think that awareness can actively work against certain things. Like the only reason that I mean, conservative people, particularly from the military, have been getting vaccinations for more than 100 years before you and I were born.
Oh, yeah.
It was never a thing until it became...
It's never controversial.
Right, until it became a social media, I got the vaccine, hashtag, we can do this. But, that was when they decided, like, oh, those libs think they're so smart with their medicine. We're going to show them, And that's when it became a social media war.
I don't think that did it, though. I don't think that's like the main concern. I think it's I think the social media war comes second after, this thing is being forced on us, because it's not the first time that stuff like that has happened. Like, even during the Spanish flu, before social media and everything, people felt like, this vaccine is being forced on us. It's just, we're kind of playing it out again, but with new
toys, right?
With new toys, exactly. Yeah.
I don't know. I guess I see your point. I just feel like the moment that we boil down our argument to a hashtag, I feel like, in the eyes of the Republicans, we're playing their game, and now they're going to do what they do best.
I agree with that. When you make it simple and I think you do have to do that sometimes, and I think it's kind of sad.
Right, because there's a whole middle group of Americans who are weirdly undecided about this shit, and they will base their vote or their vaccine status based on which side makes the more compelling social media presence, which is real fucking sad.
Yeah,
I think you missed your quota. I think you were off by one.
I still got more of the day.
Oh, you do?
Unless it's one of those days where I'm fighting people all day and I skip the second half.
Rio has to get into gang fights.
Yeah, totally happen. Oh, like it's probably gonna happen now.
Yep, which is exactly
That's
what you get for eating your lunch by the ocean.
Are you one of Chen's men?
I don't know any Chen. Oh.
Yeah, this isn't. They're just being racist.
I wish Linus and Pigpen were here right now. They'd show you.
My God.
Cut it out.
Yeah, Rio don't fuck around.
Yeah. Rio's changing how things work on the dock.
Oh, this is a fight. I could tell.
Yeah, this is an actual fight.
Oh shit! That was sucker punched me. Fuck out of here.
Jesus. This is how Rio gets his raise.
Right?
How do you feel like the 18-year-old kid you hired just fucking cracks the back of a man's skull open in front of you?
How is he blocking that shit? That's like my ultimate move right now.
Also, how are they not on the floor already?
Right?
Look at that guy is on the floor. Nope, he got back up. Man, these dudes are durable.
Right? Ooh. Ooh.
That guy actually's got some moves. I pick one of them.
Thank you.
Yeah, there you go.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, unfortunately, I was like whittling them both down equally.
All right.
This guy is so like breathy. Oh, I'll remember this. Fucking bonzour.
I'm gonna master.
What's he doing here?
Why are the mad angels picking me on?
I
think I'm working with one of their enemies.
But yeah, so I don't know. Like I said,
Chen.
putting people like Marjorie Taylor Greene out of the public eye in any way that we can is nothing but positive. But the fact that that's just the way politics in America works right now is because there was a really interesting article, actually. I think it was on CNN. It actually went through what all she's done as a congressional representative in her first year.
Oh, yeah?
She only has 16 pieces of either bills or different legislation attached to her name. None of them, not one of 16, has gotten passed. So her first year has absolutely no discernible difference than had she not been there at all.
Yeah.
And four of the 16, a full quarter, are petitions to impeach Joe Biden.
Oops.
Which again, not one of those four was actually considered. And then two of them are for to get rid of oh crap, who does she hate in Congress? Not AOC, but Green, not Green. What's her name? Oh,
is she part of like the pack?
She's black and she's really intelligent, and of course Marjorie Taylor Greene hates her. Oh my God!
Oh, it's not Maxine Waters, is it?
Yeah, Waters.
It's okay. Maxine Waters.
She wants to expel Maxine Waters.
Yeah.
Waters.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Waters.
Isn't it Waters? Yeah.
So six out of the 16 things that she's attached her name to as her time as a congressional representative have just been grandstanding.
Yeah.
And the other 10 were like removing restrictions for unvaccinated individuals. Like, you're unvaccinated, you're carrying COVID. Yeah, you can absolutely show up to work in the hospital alongside everybody else.
Yeah, like totally going against common sense stuff, which, again, this stuff shouldn't be political.
And other things that are just, like, good for conservative brownie points, like unlimited access to assault rifles and shit like that. Like, that's all she's done.
Yeah.
And so, but the point of this article was that ask anyone on the street who Marjorie Taylor Greene is, they can tell you. Ask anyone, for instance, who, let's pick a random politician, Stacey Abrams, and outside of, and that's even more prolific than I meant to go. But you know, a lot of people outside of Georgia or who didn't pay attention to her presidential run might be like, who the hell is Stacey Abrams?
Yeah.
Because again, what does Marjorie Taylor Greene specialize in? Not policy, not working, but just making an ass of herself on the internet. And that's
and endearing people to her that vibe with that shit.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
And we're paying for
stick
it.
it to them libs. Yeah.
Yeah.
And never mind that
literally
she actually
paying for it with taxpayer dollars.
Yep.
Like,
yeah, and never mind that she hasn't done anything meaningful and hasn't even like let's say you elected her to stick it to the libs. She hasn't stuck it to the libs in any way except for, on Twitter. And now that's being taken away from her. So
yeah.
Again, like what else is there to her? There's nothing.
And she's
see not it as a person of substance.
Yeah, it's a definite win.
It enrages me that those are the kind of people that apparently can get elected to the most important offices in the nation right now.
Yep. I remember when the Tea Party was like, oh man, we've sunk so low. I can't believe these people. And now we got fucking like...
Remember when Palin was the worst? Yeah.
Yeah. Now we have people who are saying like January 6th
Palin
was
is terrible,
like... We have people openly saying like January 6th was an insurrection and it's like too bad that these patriots are being thrown in jail.
I know. Oh my...
Who are sitting in Congress.
Living Christ. I am, okay. If I hear that shit one more time.
Lunch is usually not the end of my day, is it? I'm not going back to work. I think you get an
hour and then you go back to work.
Okay, gotcha.
You can like wander the docks and harass minorities.
Okay, so I can fuck around a little bit. Well, let's talk to Tom.
I only said that because Tom's standing.
Because Tom's right there. Oh my god.
The Jamaican minority.
I've got something to ask you. Do you know anything about the Mad
Angel?
Rio? You in trouble with them?
No, they're in trouble with me, Tom.
They're gonna be. Oh, did you pick anything else up from the Steam sale?
Nick got me the Saga Frontier remaster, which I've been
nice. Nice.
And I actually finally committed to it, and 20 plus years after it, 25 years actually, 24 years after actually playing it for the first time, I finally managed to beat Blue's scenario.
Did you jump straight to 2? Or is that 1? Did you jump straight to 2 or is that 1? Saga Frontier?
The remaster? It's a 1. Yeah.
It's just 1.
They haven't remastered the second game.
Yeah. Okay, gotcha. Okay.
Which
I thought there was
like kind of a misnomer because in Japan it's like the 8th game or something like that. It has nothing to do with the first one, so it's not really a direct sequel.
Okay.
Anyways. But no, like, so Saga Frontier 1 is the one where you have like 7 different protagonists to pick from. Yeah.
Yeah, so I remember that, and I remember we went nowhere with it, basically.
Yeah, so for years you and I went nowhere with it, and then I think like one of the last times you and I hung out in person in the last couple of years, I think we popped it in, and we really meant to like try to get somewhere with it, and we couldn't.
Did we?
We did, but it only lasted like 2 hours because 1, we were slightly intoxicated, and 2, we just couldn't figure out where to go because that game gives you no guidance.
It gives you nothing, and it's just difficult. Like
it is. Like if you make a wrong turn, you lose. Like there will be an enemy there that will just mop.
There are enemies that you are 40 hours too early for.
Well, and what's funny, so here's my experience. I finally knuckled down and just like decided like this is way too nostalgic and actually like when you finally get into it, it is a good game. It's a fun game. But boy, like the first couple of hours with it are just intentionally unapproachable. Like you'll
never see that anymore.
Like, yeah, no, you're just meant to press buttons and
scrape.
Like, yeah, exactly. Just throw different shit at the wall and see what sticks. Is that fucking cat? Yep,
it's the cat. Rio, you're such a softie. Just come on,
just kill the cat.
Step on the gas.
That was my only cat, man. Shut up, Tom. But yeah, so I finally did that, and thank you, honey. My wife just brought me something, and finally figured out what the hell I'm supposed to be doing in that game and like how some of the basic mechanics work. And the funny thing is, like, when you finally do get into like
these go inside the lines, eh?
Shut up, Rio.
Hey, Canadian Rio, Jesus.
Okay. When you finally do get into like the end of the scenario and like, you know, you've got end game spells and equipment and everything, which, mind you, happens really, really fast because there are 8 different scenarios to play from. So they're all, every scenario is meant to be like 5 to 10 hours long. So you have to like get it out of your head that there's like a beginning, middle, and end. It's like, start the game, we'll give you like a tutorial battle that's really easy, and now the rest of the game is just go find high-powered gear and spells and start wrecking shit. Like, it's just a super different pace for an RPG. And
how long have you been playing it?
I've been playing it 12 hours, but that is,
nice,
again,
okay.
like, and I did one scenario out of the 8.
Yeah.
And again, that really is just, part of that was just me grinding and figuring out what to do and how things work. But anyways, so like when you get to the end game and you have like all this overpowered gear and stuff, there's still, like, enemies regularly will take out more than half of your HP with one hit.
Wow.
The way the combat system in that game works is just blast them a million times harder than they blast you. Like that's literally it. Like even bosses, they're meant to go down in 3 or 4 turns or you're just out. Like, they will decimate your characters.
I like that, though, because the actual powerful shit that you have, like, you're forced to use it and not just like, hey, I put the work in to get this and now I get to, like, cheese my way through.
Right.
Yeah,
and there are ways to, like, stack buffs and do heals and things like that, but either you do that in the first round and you're you're basically meant to lose boss fights every time the first time you try them, because they'll use something that will wipe your party out in like one hit. That's like, okay, how do I prevent that from happening? And then once you do that, then you can launch your counterattack.
Gotcha. Sounds like it would be annoying for a lot of people, but
yeah, it's just a real different kind of RPG. Like even 25 years after its release, there's really still not a lot of games like that.
Yeah,
and from what I understand about Saga as a franchise in Japan, that's just how that series has always been. It's never really played by the same JRPG rules as everybody else. It is not a Dungeons and Dragons style game like Dragon Quest and Final Fantasy. It is a completely different behemoth.
So how you liking it as far as like the story and everything?
Great, and that's the thing. I've always been super intrigued by its story. Like, I've always thought it was a cool premise to have all these different characters in this big world that's just sprawled out in front of you, and you can go anywhere from the beginning. I always thought that was such a cool concept.
That ain't right.
Why is what's the guy who played the Joker? Caesar Romero? Why is Caesar Romero harassing you?
In what?
I said, pay up, boy.
That guy, he's Caesar Romero.
Yeah, but you said Joker?
Oh, Joker from the 60s Batman live action.
Okay, gotcha.
It was Caesar Romero, right? Or is,
no way.
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Let me Google it just to make sure. You would recognize him if you saw mustache.
Yeah, I remember the guy that played the Joker in that show, but I never knew his name. I just know who you're talking about.
Yeah, it was Caesar Romero.
Okay. I was pretty bummed about Betty White. Whoops.
Oh yeah, that's right. Betty White passed away.
Yeah, which is like in every
real
year,
sweet lady. From
like
my personal experience with her, of course. But no, from what I understand, everyone who worked with her would have said that she was a very sweet lady.
Holy shit! I kicked these guys' asses.
Yeah,
right, you guys.
Just weren't up to the same skill level as those other two dudes.
Right? Yeah.
But Rio's not done yet.
The C-class Mad Angels.
Yeah.
Yeah, chase after him, Rio. Come on. You
Nope,
already made quota.
Right back to work. Hey, wait until the end of my shift. Yeah, you got the quota easily. I was wrong.
Wait, what the fuck were we talking about?
Caesar Romero. Saga Frontier. Saga Frontier.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, it's just its own kind of game, and like once you stop trying to play it like you would a Final Fantasy, it opens up and really like for instance, the way that I was trying to fight bosses was okay, I'm gonna play super defensively and whittle them down. No, you will lose every time. Like you're meant to find out how to combo your spells and techniques to do like 15,000 points of damage like an hour after the main quest is started, and that's how you beat the bosses.
Oh, wow.
Because
it's finding the combinations to things, like figuring out a puzzle.
It's literally like doing different techniques and seeing what launches combos. And even then, there's still some like luck and randomness to it. So like sometimes you get like a 5-hit combo, which is the best you can get. And other times, like even though you're doing the same moves, only 2 out of those 5 characters will feel like participating in the combo, and so it's weaker. But yeah, like when you are in a boss fight and you get like an 18,000 damage hit, that's where the system's really rewarding, and that's what you're meant to be doing.
Gotcha. All right. I mean, it sounds kind of fun when it's really working, you know.
Yeah. But it's figuring out how to get it to work and like what you're meant to be doing. That it is a legitimate challenge, and it's just kind of interesting that like that's where the challenge of that game is. It's not in, you know, building the perfectly balanced mage setup or something like that. It's like, no, you're meant to go balls out, all in from the beginning.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is,
like fun.
Like the game makes all of this stuff available to like they like you can like walk into a random room and get one of the best pieces of armor in the game like moments after starting it.
Oh shit.
And that's like just a perfectly acceptable way to play. Like I said, the armor does next to nothing in that game.
Oh really? Okay. I missed that part.
It basically means that you'll die in 2 hits instead of 1 hit.
Gotcha. Yeah, it really does sound like the bosses are more like just like a puzzle to be solved then. You know, and it's like, oh, they're attacking you? You probably fucked up.
And every character better be carrying 1 item at least that allows you to revive or heal. Because your finger quotes healing mage, they will get knocked out regularly. And that's kind of interesting too, because there is really no such thing as like a healing mage in that game. You know, like every character is meant to be able to pinch heal if they need to, but then go right back to kicking ass.
Gotcha.
Man, fuck COVID.
That Rona, jeez.
Yep. Well, part of it is I'm just getting dry, even though I have my water here.
Yeah. Moisten yourself.
Moist.
Is that the last box?
I was gonna say, are you like just gonna fucking demolish this on your first day?
Yeah, I think.
Or is the
day
time moving
5,
slower
right?
than it did on the Dreamcast?
Okay, maybe I start moving some other boxes. Let's see.
No,
here.
I think you finished it.
Yeah, I definitely finished it.
Shit.
Come on.
Now to drive it into the ocean.
If only.
Yeah, dude, you straight up fucking finished this. I don't think I've ever done that.
I'm finally gonna get the winning cans here.
He just empties it for himself. Oh my god. After his workday finishes, we gotta call this an episode.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, these days do end up taking a little while, huh?
I swear that the work clock moves slower than it did on the Dreamcast. Because I remember you had to like blitz and like have the motions down pat in order to get all of the crates on a given day.
I mean, I feel like I was blitzing. I remember being a pretty good, forklift
Yeah, but I mean,
driver.
there were like moments where like you got stuck or turned around and stuff like that. And like, if I remember right, to get all of the crates on the Dreamcast, you couldn't do that like more than once. Like,
I definitely remember doing it a few days.
Really?
Like getting all the crates. Yeah, for sure. Chris, come on. I'm a Mexican. Like warehouse stuff. This is
your jam.
This is my jam right here.
Just give Max some work to do, and he'll do it.
And he'll fucking do it. He'll take your work. You better watch out.
He'll take your work, too. Any job, yours.
All right, let's find us some Mad Angels.
Oh yeah, dude, my fucking
Give him a big atomic wedgie.
Mad Angels hideout. Fucking
let me just bust him. Where's Londi? Where's Julian Da, huh?
Who is that? Before he even has a chance to react.
God. Now I do. This is the first time that I've wanted to play Sega Racing All Stars because I want to fucking play as Rio in a forklift.
The fucking not crane, not forklift. Knock knock.
All right, I'm gonna fucking wait for them here.
He doesn't give a shit.
Finished for the day.
There is no love left in those eyes. Look at that. Now to kill.
Get my money.
Okay, good job. Here's today's
Good
pay.
job. I did all the fucking work you had.
I did all the work there. I had to
Thanks.
pussyfoot
You
for
made
like
all
almost
that,
an hour.
son. So starting next week, you'll get a 50 yen raise. That'll be 350 yen per crate.
Fuck yeah, it will.
Thank you.
Wait, what?
Keep up the good work.
Oh, 50
Yes, thank you
yen
very
per
much.
crate?
350 yen per crate.
I mean, all together, yeah.
Yeah.
Like that's, I was like 50 yen a day, huh? I mean, sure, that's a fourth of the bus ride home,
Right.
dick, but
Hats off to the hard-working man.
You said you knew a lot about the harbor.
Rio.
I know.
Right on.
This is
I feel
me
like
interacting with
these
you.
guys have really become like friends.
They do.
In their weird way.
Take a leap.
I wish he would have shown up in Shenmue 3 somehow.
Knows it all.
Yeah, right.
So you were the angels.
Speaking of taking a leak.
Oh my god, Goro.
Not so fast.
Oh man. Must have had me about 8 this morning.
I kind of feel like...
Oh, back in me.
Well, no, because the voice actor matches his movements perfectly, but
Right?
I think they forgot to, like, tell him that he was, like, the motion capture guy or something wasn't acting on a stage.
Why not?
Like, okay, so this is a narrative game called Shenmue, and it's about a man who loses his father and goes after his killer. Oh, okay. And I will be acting opposite Muppets, yes? Sure. Like, that's Goro.
No
Yeah.
way.
Well, bro, I'm out of here.
Bro.
Yeah, later.
Oh my god.
Oh, fuck, dude. Speaking of trilogies, did you say the last time that you were going to watch Spider-Man 3?
No, I haven't yet. No, because of the
Oh,
because
okay.
of the COVID.
Fucking...
But on the next episode of Play the Hits, we also got to talk about the new Matrix.
Oh, I gotta watch that one still. Okay, you know what? Yeah. Even though it's a lot easier for me to watch that, somehow...
You saw Spider-Man.
I did see Spider-Man, yeah.
Was it good?
I put on my N95. It's a good movie, yes.
It's a good
It is
movie.
good.
All right.
Oh, okay.
Weezon, what the hell? Wow, they just are like slapping you with all these events one after another.
This is, yeah, the last third of the game is pretty linear, but it's just like one event after the, after the next.
I keep saying let's save and quit, but 18 minutes
It's
later,
like,
here we
no,
are.
Weezong's not going to let me do that.
You couldn't even handle the Mad Angels.
Are you
Much
kidding me? I
less
just
take
beat
on
up
the
5
I
of them.
just, yeah, totally like shit on
Look, I
fire.
don't need your help.
And I beat them in a motorcycle race.
Hey, fine by me. But it's wise to accept the goodwill of others.
You just tried to kick me in the back of the head.
What'll it be? You are mine or not?
Is this an actual choice?
Are we gonna
Yeah,
have
man.
sex?
Well, if you're so eager to teach me, okay. You
Teach
could
me
be
your
more
sex.
appreciative.
Teach me the ways of sex.
First, I'll show you the form.
Am I saying that right?
One step back.
Oh,
shift
I remember
away.
this one.
While backing up, kick.
Oh yeah, this is a good.
I
This
like-
is
I
actually
like this
really a
move.
good one because
Yeah,
it's like one of the only
Now you
really
try.
effective counters in this game.
yeah, like actually getting out of harm's way.
Yeah, and like
Let's
getting
see.
them away from you,
There we go.
which is something that's been kind of lacking in the combat up to this point. Is that like if they rush you, you can't really
That's fine.
get them back.
I see you've
You
learned the
have to
basic
create the
form.
distance
Yeah.
Got it now.
in order to
You,
pull off your
There's
moves.
yet to master.
Either run or just like dodge a few
Right
times.
now,
like,
this gets them a foot back from you so that you can.
Yeah, please.
Continue on
Watch,
kicking ass.
So give it a try.
I do love about this game is that if you practice a move enough, it looks different
Yeah,
after a while, and it's just like that's cool.
his foot will fucking like catch fire while he's doing it.
Yes, quit.
That'd be fucking great.
Like most of them, it's just like a kind of a subtle thing, and some things like the punches and kicks never look different. But then you got things like the mud spider, where the first form of it he just like slides on the ground, but the second form he like pushes up on his hands and literally like kicks them in the chin.
Yeah,
and it's like, oh shit,
I was just joking about, like, you master a move and his foot catches fire or something, and how great that would have been. And then I thought, well, that's straight up what they fucking do in Yakuza, so.
Yeah, that's true. Yakuza's a little less grounded in reality.
Yeah, just a little.
Just a little bit.
Yeah.
It is a dramatic game, though. It's... Whew.
Yeah. They marry the two concepts well, from what I've seen. What very little I've seen.
No matter what.
I gotta say, I do love the grinding in that game, because most of the grinding involves like, hey, you got to get this thing to create this thing to create this thing, and a lot of these different things you have to do involve the mini games. So they kind of force you to just have fun in a lot of different ways in order to get super powerful.
It's like, hey, you completed the street races. Here's Travis Touchdown's lightsaber.
Until the very end game, the post game is kind of like, okay, just run your business now. And running your business runs itself after a while.
Nice.
So it's like, just hold the R2 button to make the business go quicker. Keep doing that. Make the business go quicker. Talk to the shareholders. Then go to the fighting arena to get like job EXP. Rinse and repeat 1,000,000 times, because upgrading your weapons to like, you can keep upgrading them until you're like, I put too many hours into the not post game. Because I wanted to, because it was a lot of fun. And then it's like, okay, let's actually beat this game. And it was not hard, like, at all. There's a hard mode and like an extra hard mode, but you can't actually choose any of that until and I'm gonna save in a second. But
yeah, I was gonna say we gotta end this episode.
Yeah, you can't choose any of that until you beat the game. And when I got to like the final place, like it's a tower, of course, obviously. I was just way too jacked. Like there was no challenge. But then the end game,
you got too strong.
But then the end game, it jumps, and now I'm like nothing. Now it's just like, oh shit. Well, now I have to get twice as jacked. So, but yeah, it's a good one.
Well, Max, next time I play the hits, we're gonna keep going to work, and we're gonna discuss the Matrix.
Yep. All right, I'll have to watch it in the next couple days then.
Sweet. We'll see you next time, buddy.
All right, man. Feel better. We'll see you then.